Yo, what's good? I just wanted to sidebar. I find it interesting how the more I do these videos, the more comfortable I am. The more I seem to find my voice and, really give you the perspective that I think, really, or rather I should say, the more I'm able to explain my perspective better in a more clear, concise manner, and kind of give you a very, I think, a unique and intelligent perspective. I mean, you guys might think I'm fucking retarded, but I think I do a pretty good job. But I just hope you guys see any sort of progress, and hopefully one day when I get big, you can go back and see how shitty these are and compare them to what I do later on in life and see how much I've improved. But that's all I really want to say. The free agency for the NBA started at midnight last night or this morning. It's the things that have happened are not unexpected, right? Like Steph Curry signed the largest deal in NBA history, or for the most money, I should say, 5 years, $201 million. I think it's very well deserved. He's my favorite player next to LeBron James, which is kind of funny because people think that you can't be fans of players on opposing teams, especially players that have faced each other in the finals 3 times. But I'm just a fan of basketball, man. Like, I'm not like one of those people who are super like biased and can't see talent on the other side. Like, I understand that LeBron and Curry are 2 of the best players in the world and 2 of the greatest players that we've ever seen. You may not agree with that, but the numbers speak for themselves. So, but yeah, again, it's very, I think it's very well deserved. But it was an interesting point that LeBron brought up on Twitter. He quote tweeted a tweet that said, the tweet was saying how much the Warriors was worth before they drafted Steph Curry versus after, drafting him, and how much they're worth now. I believe it was worth $200 million when the team was bought at that time, and now it's worth over $2 billion or $4 billion. I do not quote me. But the point is, Steph Curry has transformed that franchise, and even at $201 million over 5 years, he's still not being paid what he should. And LeBron's point was, you see these numbers, Steph should be getting $400 million if we're being real, like we're being honest with ourselves. And he raises a good point. Players, there is a stock cap. The cap only allows you to pay a certain amount of money to an individual player, which is why players haven't been able to be paid this amount of money before. So you would think someone like Michael Jordan, who's one of the greatest players, who is the greatest player of all time, I mean, let's just be real, why he never got such money, and it was because there was a stock cap. You can only allot a certain amount of money for each player. Here's how I'll explain it, because I think I'm tripping over my words. There is a certain amount of money allotted to each team. Okay, you can only pay a player a certain amount of percentage of what that cap is, based on how much you paid them before and how many years they played in the league. So if you gave a player, these are just like, these aren't the exact numbers, but these are just ballparks. So let's say in their first deal, which is their rookie deal, you gave them 10% of the cap. Okay, their next deal, you can decide to give them a certain percentage of the cap, but if it's not the maximum of what that is, so like let's say you could pay 20% of the cap, but you only decide to give them 15%. When their next deal comes along, you can't give them the next max that they're eligible for. So you can't give them 30. You could only give them like 25. It has to incrementally get bigger by the time it's available. And so Steph Curry didn't receive the best deals that could have been afforded towards him in the beginning of his career, because he was injured a lot. He rolled his ankle. The Warriors basically were able to retain him on a discount, and since he's become such a superstar, he now is being rewarded for helping the Warriors transform their franchise, and which is great. But still, you have to ask yourself, why is he not a billionaire? Because essentially it is because of him that the Warriors are now this juggernaut franchise that they are. They're definitely the best teams. They're definitely the best team in the league, but they're arguably one of the best teams of all time. And that happens only because of Steph Curry's play on the court, his ability to draw in a superstar like Kevin Durant, his ability to make players around him better. Like Steph Curry is, there's so much to him, and there's so much that he's brought to that franchise and to the game of basketball. Really, he's essentially what the Warriors have done has made a seismic shift in basketball. All across the world, really. I mean, the way the game's played, people are shooting threes from half court now. You hear parents complaining about their kids shooting too many threes. That's all because they want to be like Steph. I mean, there's no other way to slice it. I mean, he's that impactful of a player. So the idea that he's not being paid or recognized in that manner is something that I question greatly. The baseball doesn't have a salary cap, but basketball does. I wonder what that's about. I wonder what's the difference between those two leagues. I don't know. You tell me. Thank you.